Ladies and gentlemen, can I please have your attention? I've just been handed an urgent and horrifying news story. And I need all of you to stop what you're doing and listen.
Hey, welcome to World Entertainment, and we got some breaking news regarding DC, Warner Brothers and Superman, because a lawsuit has just been filed against Warner Brothers and Discovery and DC over the copyright issues regarding Superman, more so the copyright internationally. So this thing looks like the estate of the co-creator of Superman is trying to block the release of Superman in Canada, the UK, Ireland and Australia. So there's a reason behind this. Now Warner Brothers is very much pushing back against this. However, the issue they might have, and look, this thing will end up coming out and it'll come out in time. You probably don't have to worry about, oh my god, are we not going to get to see this? You will get to see it because they will probably settle. Where it comes in to be a big issue with them is the fact that it's going to end up costing them so much money. And this really is about money. But where it's really going to cost Warner Brothers is the fact that they really don't actually have much of a legal ground to stand on regarding what this issue is. And you'll see what I mean. So let's dive into this, because this is a very interesting and very complicated case, which could spell trouble for a lot of properties actually. So let's dive into this. So it says, just months before Warner Brothers Discovery is set to release James Gunn's Superman, a major lawsuit threatens to disrupt its international rollout. The estate of Joseph Schuster, co-creator of The Man of Steel, has filed a lawsuit in federal court claiming that Warner Brothers Discovery and DC Comics lack the legal right to distribute the upcoming film in Canada, the United Kingdom, Ireland and Australia. The lawsuit, led by Mark Warner Perry, executor of the Schuster's estate, demands a halt to Superman-related releases in those territories, citing automatic copyright reversion laws. The battle over Superman's ownership is nothing new. When Jerry Siegel and Joe Shuster created the character in 1938, they sold the rights to DC Comics' predecessor for a mere $130, $65 each, a move that would haunt them for decades. While Superman went on to become one of the most lucrative intellectual properties in history, Siegel and Shuster struggled financially, spending years fighting for compensation. By the 1970s, their plight became a public scandal, leading DC to grant them annual pensions and official credit as Superman's creators. Right, I think that part was always insane to learn about, that the creators of Superman were never given credit for creating it, which that on its own should just be like, that was wrong. But that's all sorted now. So, but that didn't resolve the deeper issue: legal ownership of the character. Over the years, their heirs have repeatedly fought to reclaim Superman's rights under copyright termination laws, securing various settlements and court rulings that granted them partial ownership over different aspects of the character. Now, this partial ownership is where this lawsuit could hurt Warner Brothers as well. Not just with what we're about to hear here, but because they have partial ownership. So it says, this latest lawsuit focuses on a little-known legal perversion affecting copyrights in countries that follow British legal tradition. In these nations, copyrights automatically revert to an author's estate 25 years after their death, unless explicitly extended. Schuster died in 1992, meaning his share of Superman's copyright legally reverted to his estate in 2017, 2021 in Canada. Yet, the estate claims that Warner Brothers continues to exploit the character in these regions without authorization, violating copyright law. The lawsuit argues that since Superman was co-created by Siegel and Schuster, both estates must approve any new use of the character in these territories. Defendants continue to exploit Superman across these jurisdictions without the Schuster estate's authorization, including in motion pictures, television series, and merchandise, in direct contravention of these countries' copyright laws, the lawsuit states. The estate is not only seeking financial damages, but also a cease and desist order preventing Warner Brothers from distributing the Superman film in these countries until the matter is settled. So that part right there, you hear that it's all about money. They don't really want Superman back, but they want a giant chunk of the change from the studios for everything, for what the movie will make, for what the properties make, for what the comics make, from what the merchandise will make. So unsurprisingly, Warner Brothers Discovery is fighting back. A spokesperson for Warner Brothers Discovery issued a firm statement saying, "We fundamentally disagree with the merits of the lawsuit and will vigorously defend our rights." So that's what their statement was. And it says, "This legal battle couldn't come at a worse time for Warner Brothers. The studio is relying on Superman as the make or break launchpad for James Gunn's new DC universe. After years of misfires, The Flash, Black Adam, Shazam, and it goes on and on and on, DC is in dire need of a hit." Now, where you're seeing where it gets very messy for them is Warner Brothers is saying, or at least our spokesperson is saying, that they fundamentally disagree with the merits of the lawsuit. Problem is, the lawsuit actually has ground to stand on, being the fact that it falls under the international copyright law. So it's not the copyright laws in the US, it's the copyright law outside of the US. So they might realize that these rights revert back to the estates and that they cannot do anything with the character for those territories. So in this case, Canada, the UK, Ireland, and Australia, that they can't actually do anything with the character, including merchandise, without the explicit approval of both estates of Siegel and Schuster, which is just going to be crazy. Now, as I said, they're not going to let this go to court. You know, Warner Brothers, they're not going to. They can't afford to take it to court, but they also really can't afford to settle. But they will probably settle. They'll probably give them a nice big chunk of change from, well, saying the profits of the movie probably isn't realistic, because if the budget of this movie is accurate that we're hearing, which is almost $400 million, then the thing needs to make almost, if not $1 billion to break even. And quite frankly, I just don't see that happening. But they'll probably give them a massive cut off merchandise. So t-shirts, mugs, action figures, clothes, t-shirts, all that kind of crap. So it's going to be interesting. We'll have to keep an eye on exactly what happens with this. Or, if for whatever reason, which might, well, it could make sense. They could go to court and it ends up being that the estate actually missed a deadline or something that it takes to file this type of case. You know, that could affect them, maybe. You know, I don't know what way that works. I know there's usually a timeline. You saw that with Disney when they took on the authors of the original book that led to Predator, which was called Skulls, that they sent it in the letters of cease and desist. We want the copyright back. You know, the time has passed. Those rights should be back to us. And it was put in that, oh, you put in the wrong date or something. And Disney kicked the can down the road and they ended up missing the deadline. So they didn't get anything. These possibly have missed a deadline. I don't know. We'd have to see what way that would work, especially seeing as it's international. But I wonder as well, could they actually be affected by the fact that they knew this movie was being made for quite a long time now? They knew Superman was going to be the big tentpole for Warner Brothers DC moving forward into the future, and they wait not just a couple of months, a good few months after the movie actually had its first look with the original picture and stuff, and now the first trailer comes out. There's a new trailer on its way apparently, and now they issue this lawsuit. So I wonder if that could affect them. I don't know. It's very interesting. That's why I said it's a bit complicated the way this one's working. But again, it falls into the international end of things. So we'll have to wait and see what happens. We'll keep an eye out for more updates and information regarding what's happening with this. But that's the news that's come in so far, that this lawsuit has been filed to the federal court regarding copyright laws outside of the US. So with that, I shall leave it there for this one. Like, share, subscribe, you know the drill. Cheers, and I'll catch you in the next one.